This video is for married couples in Hampden County, Massachusetts, who need Medicaid eligibility to pay for long-term care. But they have too much life savings in bank accounts, IRAs, and other assets. Medicaid calls those assets excess assets. A spousal MassHealth Compliant annuity is one way to solve the problem of too many assets. It does this by transforming excess assets into income that comes back to you. Today we'll look at 4 of the requirements for a spousal annuity that complies with MassHealth. Requirement number 1, the annuity must be irrevocable and non-assignable. It can never be canceled, cashed out, or transferred to another person. The annuity can be owned only by the healthy spouse who lives in the community, with all the income from the annuity going only to that community spouse.
The basic bargain that Congress has enacted here is that income to the community spouse is protected. So when married couples convert assets to income to the community spouse as a way to spend down into Medicaid, generally speaking, Congress has said that's okay.
After the community spouse signs the annuity contract and pays a single premium for the annuity company starts sending monthly income to the community spouse. The second requirement is that the annuity payments must be actuarially sound, meaning that the monthly payments are spread out over the life expectancy of the community spouse.
Community spouses. The community spouses will get every cent of income for as long as they live.
And the third requirement for compliance is all the monthly payments must be in equal amounts.
A community spouse will earn every penny of income from the annuity for as long as they live. And if they live out their actuarial lifespan, then all of the money will go back to them as income.
But what happens if the community spouse dies before their predicted life expectancy, before all the annuity money is paid back to him or her? Can one of their heirs get the money that's left over? In this annuity case, Joan needed Medicaid to pay for her long-term care in a nursing home. She and her husband Robert sold their house, and Robert, the community spouse, bought a $172,000 annuity with the sale proceeds. Robert was able to stay in assisted living.
In my client's case, Mr. Hamill, he had roughly a couple $100,000 from the sale proceeds from his home, and he put that into an annuity so that it could generate income for him to pay for his assisted living expenses because his wife was in a nursing home. So if they paid privately for both items, their resources would have been depleted very rapidly. His annuity was actuarially sound to protect a community spouse from becoming impoverished because their spouse is in a nursing home and they also need income and resources to live on. Those were primarily, the majority of his assets.
The annuity paid monthly income until Robert passed away 18 months later. $118,000 remained in the annuity contract. That brings us to a 4th requirement for a spousal Medicaid annuity. To get Medicaid eligibility for Joan, Robert was required to list the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as primary beneficiary of the annuity, entitling the state to collect reimbursement for any amount MassHealth had paid. A week after he passed, the annuity company notified MassHealth of Robert's death. MassHealth claimed all $118,000 as reimbursement for Joan's long-term care, and the annuity company sent all the remaining annuity money to the Commonwealth. But Robert, the owner of the annuity, had never taken any Medicaid benefits. MassHealth hadn't paid anything for Robert's care. Shouldn't the remaining money go to his daughter, the contingent beneficiary that he had named on the annuity? A trial judge said yes and ordered MassHealth to give the money back to the daughter. But MassHealth appealed that decision.
Because I'm concerned about persons hiding assets by converting them into income using an annuity by putting all their assets into the annuity. as long as it's actuarially sound.
The daughter argued that passing Robert's remaining annuity funds to his heirs is consistent with Medicaid regulations that allow a community spouse to leave their house to heirs as long as they stay healthy and never need Medicaid eligibility for themselves.
With respect to community spouses, you can transfer your home to your community spouse, and there's no reimbursement provision to the state when the community spouse passes away with respect to their estate. So I think Congress is clear in that it allows a community spouse to retain unencumbered assets.
These provisions were intended to, quote, discourage the use of annuities to shelter funds for heirs while qualifying for Medicaid. They were all designed to limit strategies that both spend down individuals into Medicaid in ways that are designed to pass the wealth on to heirs.
The justices agreed with MassHealth and reversed the trial court decision.
It's not like the Medicaid or the Attorney General's being unreasonable here. Basically saying you're entitled to the money during your life, but if we paid out for the spouse, we get it rather than the heirs.
The justices decided that if the community spouse dies before all the annuity funds have been distributed, the Commonwealth is entitled to any remaining proceeds up to the amount that it paid for benefits on behalf of the institutionalized spouse who achieved Medicaid eligibility in part or in toto by way of the purchased annuity. So the state can require that it be fully reimbursed from money remaining in an annuity that was purchased so that the nursing home spouse can qualify for Medicaid. Not allowing heirs to collect remaining annuity money until after Medicaid is fully repaid is the law in most other states too. If you live in Hampden County and want to learn more about Medicaid planning and ways to pay for long-term care, call me to schedule an educational meeting. Coming up in parts 2 and 3, motives for Medicaid planning, how you know if you have excess assets, plus more about MassHealth Compliant annuities and other planning options for married couples and single individuals.